I'm not really sure what stuff you're talking about, but
By the way, Humphrey was in your room earlier.
thank you. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
A girl named Zoe gives a speech as she prepares to share a toast on her mom's wedding day. Zoe says she's happy to see that her mom, Jeannie, has found love again and that she deserves it. She adds that she's looking forward to living with her mom's new husband, Ted, and his sons, Adam, Ben, and Zach. Zoe also introduces the guests to the family's dog, Humphrey. As she's about to toast to her mom, Ben accidentally knocks over a jar of water on Humphrey, who immediately stands up and drags a table while running away.
5 males that I am living with.
Zoe and the guests look shocked, but Ted's sons quickly go after Humphrey. In the process, Adam knocks down a couple of things, causing a bowl of soup to spill onto Zoe's body. Zoe looks disgusted by this, but after the boys catch the dog, she still makes the toast. A week later, Zoe and Jeannie move in with Ted and his sons. While Zoe is still sleeping, she suddenly hears Ted speaking loudly to wake his sons so they can get ready for school. Zoe isn't used to this, and she quickly steps out to ask what's going on. Ted says it's just a little wake-up ritual that he and his sons do on school days.
What is going on? Are we being invaded?
Zoe doesn't really have anything to say, and she just heads to the bathroom. Almost immediately, Ben comes in, and Zoe asks what he's doing. Ben then mentions that there are only 2 bathrooms in the house, and that Zoe will have to learn to share. Zoe seems disgusted, and as Ben starts going through her things, she manages to send him away. Shortly after, Zoe gets ready for school and heads downstairs, only to see Ben giving Humphrey an eraser to eat. Almost immediately, Adam comes downstairs and starts looking for his pants.
The fact that they never betray their own instincts.
He seems to be in a hurry, but Zoe stops him and says that he and the other boys have to understand that they're now living with a girl. She adds that they can't just walk around without pants or barge into the bathroom while she's inside. Adam says he's in a hurry because he has morning basketball practice and a few meetings to attend. He also mentions that they do things together in the family, and he's not sure Zoe will have more time to herself in the bathroom. As he walks away, Zoe looks pissed and tells Humphrey to attack him.
Look at that cat!
Yummy from the chump.
Humphrey doesn't listen to her, and Ben says that Zoe clearly lacks the fundamental understanding of dogs because they never betray their own instincts or turn against their own pack. He says he can recommend some books for Zoe to read, but she says she's not interested. She then heads to the kitchen and sees Zach making a weird pancake mix. She looks disgusted and also spots Ben stuffing his mouth with food. She just drops her bag and goes to the fridge to get her bowl of cottage cheese since she's not interested in eating Zach's pancakes.
I thought you'd want my pancake.
After checking the fridge, Zoe realizes that her cottage cheese is missing. It turns out that Zach has already used it for his weird mix, and he says he didn't know Zoe wouldn't want pancakes. Zoe seems pissed and just heads over to meet her mom. She asks Jeannie if things will always be like this every morning before school. Jeannie says she's not sure, but that Zoe has to tolerate the boys because they all have their differences. Zoe looks disappointed, and Jeannie gives her a music box to cheer her up. Zoe likes this and talks about when her late dad got it for her on one of his business trips.
Oh, first day at your new high school.
Jeannie then asks if Zoe is excited for her first day at the new school, but she says she's nervous. Jeannie says she's sure Zoe will do great, and Zoe looks pleased. She then returns to the bathroom to pick up her bag. Almost immediately, Zach turns on a blender containing his weird mix without covering it. This causes the mixture to splash all over his face, and some of it also soils Zoe's clothes. Zoe doesn't know what else to say, and Zach says sorry for his mistake.
That's right. The trip got you.
Shortly after, the kids head to school, and Adam quickly gives Zoe some instructions on how to find her classroom. Before Zoe can ask for more details, Adam just walks away really fast. Zoe then tries to ask the other boys outside the school for directions to her class, but she notices that they're all weird and interested in different things. After Zoe gets ignored by a group of gym freaks, gamers, and smelly boys, she meets a boy named Trip who jokingly farts in front of her. Zoe cannot believe this, but Trip doesn't seem to care much about what she thinks.
Oh, boy crazy? Yeah.
As she laments about this, a girl named Rachel shows up behind her and offers to show her where her class is. Zoe thanks Rachel for this, and as they head into the building, Zoe talks about how the boys in the school seem to be knuckleheads. Rachel says she likes to think of them as challenging. She adds that there are some cute boys around, and that it's one of the best things about the school. As Rachel opens her locker, Zoe notices that she has a picture of a boy named Charlie inside. Rachel says she likes Charlie.
That just happened. You Neanderthal.
And almost immediately, he walks right past her. Rachel looks amazed and admires him, even though he barely looks at her. After this, Rachel asks what Zoe is into, and she says it's dance. Rachel says she's also a dancer, and she asks if Zoe will be trying out for the varsity squad later today. Zoe says she will, and that she actually danced at her old school. She adds that she was supposed to go to the state finals before she moved to the new town. Rachel looks impressed and jokingly says she hopes Zoe won't forget her when she becomes popular.
Sfodramantis Viridis.
Rachel then shows Zoe the classroom she was looking for, and Zoe thanks her. As Zoe enters the classroom, she sees a video of a praying mantis playing on a projector screen, and she looks shocked. The teacher eventually turns on the light, and Zoe realizes that she got the classroom numbers wrong. Meanwhile, a boy named Jackson stares at Zoe, and the teacher notices this. He tells Jackson to pay attention to his book because there'll be a quiz after the class. Jackson says he already knows about the praying mantis.
Green all day long.
Okay, for the record,
And after he shows off by saying what he knows, the teacher just tells him to take Zoe to her class. As they leave together, Zoe talks about her experience at the school so far, and Jackson just admires her. Interestingly, Jackson's ex-girlfriend, Taylor, stands in a corner and looks pissed as she sees them together. Zoe eventually catches Jackson staring at her, and she assumes that he's looking at the stain on her clothes. She explains that it wasn't her fault, but Jackson says he wasn't looking at that. As he says he was looking at Zoe, she looks pleased and seems attracted to him.
And by my posse, I mean me, and my crew, I mean well.
After he shows her where to go, he walks away and also appears to like her. Later that day, Zoe goes for the varsity squad tryouts. She meets Rachel there and looks pleased to see her. Rachel then asks if they can be friends, and Zoe agrees. Interestingly, Taylor is in charge of the dance team, and she and her assistant, Yuki, announce that the varsity squad is full and no new dancers are needed. Zoe, Rachel, and the other kids look confused, but Taylor mentions that she'll only accept anyone who impresses her.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
After she tells all the candidates to line up, Zoe goes up to introduce herself to Taylor. She says she was a dance soloist at her school last year and that she has a routine she has prepared for today. Taylor doesn't seem to care, but Zoe asks if she can audition with it. Taylor says she can't, and Zoe looks disappointed. Taylor then shows all the candidates what they're supposed to do. Meanwhile, Zoe goes to pick up her dancing shoes, but when she opens the bag, she notices that they are covered in pancake mix. She looks annoyed and realizes that Zach's mix got into her bag.
Get out and don't ever talk to me again.
Rachel comes over to ask what's happening, and Zoe says she'll have to wear her shoes like that. After this, Rachel and the other candidates struggle to replicate Taylor's moves, but Zoe does quite well and shows them her own moves. Taylor looks pissed and tells Yuki that Zoe was the one talking to her boyfriend. Yuki says she thought Taylor and Jackson already broke up, but Taylor says they're only in a transitional period.
this is a total disaster.
Almost immediately, the pancake mix on Zoe's shoes causes her to fall, and Taylor looks happy. She then dismisses all the candidates, saying they're not good enough for the team. Zoe looks sad and tries to explain why she fell. She also says that dancing is everything to her, and she's willing to do anything to join the team. Taylor then tells Zoe and Rachel to join the junior varsity squad. Zoe and Rachel look disappointed because their team comprises of misfits who don't know much about dancing.
You belong on.
Later that day, when Zoe arrives home, she sees Ben in the bathroom with Humphrey. As the dog gets out of the bathtub, he splashes some water on Zoe, who looks frustrated. Ben then tells Zoe that Humphrey was in her room earlier and that he was probably helping Zoe unpack. Zoe looks shocked and immediately heads to her room, only to see that Humphrey has scattered the entire place and destroyed the music box. As she looks sad, Humphrey enters the room again. Zoe tries to stop him from coming close to to her, but he doesn't listen.
You know, I bet at the very least I can deal with you.
She then decides to check online for an app that can help her communicate with dogs. She eventually finds a paid app and decides to try it. As she uses the app to control Humphrey, it works quite well. Zoe looks surprised, but Humphrey snatches the phone from her and drops it into the bathtub. Zoe looks pissed, but Ben says he can fix it. As he tries to dry it with his towel, he accidentally throws it outside, and the phone lands on a satellite dish before skating down some solar panels and ending up in dog poop.
What are you doing?
Some weird sparks appear around the phone, but Zoe just heads down to grab it. She looks unhappy about the situation, but Jeannie helps her dry her phone in a bowl of rice. Zoe says she doesn't think they can cope with the boys, but Jeannie encourages her and says they'll figure it out. She then asks if Zoe would like to come with her and the others to walk Humphrey. Zoe says she'll stay inside, and Jeannie leaves. As Zoe then takes a nap, the phone sparks again, but she doesn't see it.
Where is it?
The next day, Zoe figures out that her phone is working perfectly again, and she looks happy. When she heads downstairs, she sees Humphrey and tries to use the app to control him, but he doesn't obey her. As she looks confused and wonders if the app is faulty, it turns out that the commands are working on the delivery guy outside the house. Zoe doesn't know this, but as Ben enters the house looking dirty, she tells him to step back, and he obeys.
This is the one thing that stops working.
Zoe looks confused, and as Zach brings her a plate of his new food invention, she tells him to put it down. Zach does just this, and after commanding him to pick it up again, Zoe starts wondering what's wrong. When she gets to school, she sees Rachel, who wants to talk about their junior varsity teammates. Almost immediately, Trip shows up and farts in front of Zoe. She seems pissed and tells him to stop, and he does just this.
Speak.
Rachel looks shocked and says that Trip just obeyed Zoe. Zoe then tries a few extra commands, and as they work on Trip, she realizes that the app is now working for humans. She tells Rachel about it, and Rachel says it's an amazing thing to be able to control boys. Yuki and Taylor eventually enter the restroom, and Zoe tries to use the app to control them, but it doesn't work. Taylor and Yuki look confused, but Rachel and Zoe play it down as nothing serious. After this, Zoe and Rachel realize that the app doesn't work on girls. When they get outside, Rachel encourages Zoe to use the app to change the personalities of some of the boys at the school to make them more responsible and productive. Zoe also makes Charlie confess his feelings for Rachel, who looks happy. Trip then confronts Zoe about what she did earlier, but she just uses the app to tell him to be nicer. This works out quite well, and he leaves her alone. When Zoe arrives home, she sees Adam trying to do too many things at once.
Skaters, stop.
She then uses the app to tell him to be focused. This works again, and he just starts staring at a lamp and analyzing its features. Zach also shows Zoe his new food invention, but she commands him to start making less gross food. Zach immediately returns to the kitchen and starts thinking of healthy food options to make. Just then, Ted comes into the living room while speaking loudly, and Zoe tells him to be quieter. Ted suddenly notices that he can no longer raise his voice, and Zoe looks happy. She also heads to the bathroom and sees the mess Ben has made inside there. She tells him to be clean, and he immediately starts trying to fix his mess. Shortly after, the house feels peaceful, and Zoe decides to take Humphrey out for a walk. When they get to the park, Zoe spots Jackson, who looks happy to see her. He says he didn't think she was a dog girl, but Zoe just introduces him to Humphrey. She also asks what Jackson is doing at the park, and he says he came to read.
The rebel reading alone in the park.
Zoe looks impressed and notices that Jackson is reading her favorite book. After they share their thoughts on the book, Zoe says it's time for her to go home, and Jackson says he'll see her at school. Later that day, Jeannie arrives home and sees Ben mopping the floor, while Zach offers her a proper meal. She looks confused and notices that Ted isn't talking loudly anymore. She doesn't understand what's happening, and she assumes that they have just changed. The next morning, Ted tries to wake his boys with their usual morning ritual, but his voice isn't loud enough. Meanwhile, Zoe looks ready to start her day without being disturbed by Ted and his sons. As she leaves her room, she sees Adam staring at a picture closely, and Zach also shows her the breakfast menu he made. Zoe looks impressed, and when she enters the bathroom, she notices that it's sparkling clean. Ben still happens to be there, and he offers her a mint when she comes in.
Okay. Cute.
Zoe seems pleased that the app app has been really useful, and she heads to school. When she gets there, she notices that some of the boys are now acting like gentlemen. She also sees Charlie hugging Rachel, who seems to be tired of it. She says that Charlie has been expressing his feelings and hugging her a lot. After Charlie eventually leaves Rachel alone, she says that the app is actually great because all the boys are now different. She adds that the app could help with solving all the problems caused by boys. Zoe agrees and looks happy because she also knows how well the app has worked at home. Later that day, during the junior varsity team meeting, the current captain asks if anyone wants to take his position, and Rachel nominates Zoe, who looks shocked. Rachel says Zoe is the only one who really knows how to dance, and that she'll be a good captain. Zoe then takes up the role and tells her teammates that just because they're on the junior varsity team doesn't mean they cannot be as good as the main squad.
We all auditioned. At least we made it this far.
The other kids seem pessimistic about their chances, but Zoe shows them some moves and tells them to follow her. Unfortunately, they don't seem quite good, and Taylor enjoys this. Since the other team members, aside from her and Rachel, are boys, Zoe uses the app to command them to follow her lead. This works out quite well in getting the boys to perform better, and Taylor looks shocked. She then tries to show off with the main squad, but Zoe's team happens to be quite good. After practice, Zoe meets with the principal to tell her that the junior varsity team is better than the varsity squad. The principal finds this odd because she thought the junior varsity team only had kids with no talent. Taylor also complains about this, but Zoe suggests having a dance battle to decide who will be the school's main dance team. The principal agrees, but Taylor cannot believe this. The principal then mentions that the spirit committee is looking for a halftime act
That's exactly what we did.
for the first basketball game of the season, and it would be a good opportunity to have the dance-off. She says she'll use an applause meter to measure crowd noise and determine the winner. Zoe says it's perfect, but Taylor looks pissed and complains about it. The principal doesn't seem to care, and as she walks away, Taylor tells Zoe that her team is going down. Suddenly, the girls bump into Jackson, who says he has been looking for Zoe. Taylor looks disgusted and laments that she's having a terrible day because Zoe has stolen her boyfriend. After she angrily walks away, Zoe asks Jackson if they're together, but he says they've already broken up. He then asks if Zoe would like to hang out sometime. Zoe looks surprised, and Jackson tells her where to meet if she's interested. Zoe says she'll be there, and Jackson looks happy. Shortly after, Zoe tells Rachel about Jackson, and Rachel looks happy for her friend. Zoe says she doesn't think he actually asked her out, but Rachel still thinks it's a good thing that Jackson wants to hang out with her. Just then, they watch the school's basketball team playing badly, with Tripp being too nice, Adam being too focused on other things, and the coach, Ted, not having his loud voice to cheer his team on and give them instructions. Rachel looks worried and asks Zoe if the things they have done could backfire on them. Zoe doesn't think so, and she says they only made a few improvements to the world. Rachel agrees and says that her life has definitely improved since Zoe joined the school.
Do you think that maybe could happen to...
Later that day, Zoe goes to a diner to meet Jackson. After talking for a while, Zoe gets nervous and starts saying weird things. She eventually excuses herself and calls Rachel for advice. However, Rachel says she doesn't really know how to impress boys. After the call ends, Zoe assumes that boys like competition, and she commands two boys to flirt with her while she's with Jackson. This makes things even weirder, and Jackson just looks confused. Shortly after, Jackson walks Zoe home and says he had a nice time. Zoe looks happy, and as he walks away, she sees Adam staring at a ball. She asks if she can ask him something, and he says she can. As Zoe then talks about going out with Jackson, Adam asks if it was a date. Zoe says she cannot really call it that because Jackson is really confusing. Adam then mentions that being confused is normal for boys, just like it is for girls.
I know you're back there, Dirt, being dirty.
Zoe says she currently has the right to be confused because many things are new to her. Adam says he understands and that he and his brothers have also had to adjust now that they have a sister. He adds that boys are no different from girls, and they're all just stress cases at the end of the day. Zoe finds this funny because she doesn't think Adam stresses over anything, but he says he does. He adds that he's always worried about not disappointing the team or his dad. He also talks about being worried that he might not get into college, with scouts now coming around to watch him. He says it's why he was always rushing, and that if there's something confusing about the boy Zoe likes, she just needs to relax and cut him some slack. Zoe thanks him for the advice, and when she gets to her room, Ted brings her the music box and tells her that he and the boys have fixed it. Zoe thanks him for this, and after he leaves, she tells Humphrey that it seems she misjudged Ted and his sons. She adds that she'll consider changing things back tomorrow.
Oh, hey, listen, you better get some sleep.
The following day, Zoe starts to realize that things aren't going as smoothly as they once did, with the boys now being overly focused on their tasks. At school, the different groups also have an argument, and Zoe is forced to command them to stop. As all the boys at the school listen to her, Rachel finds this weird, and Zoe quickly tells them to continue doing what they were doing. Shortly after, the boys on the junior varsity team decide to quit because they no longer enjoy dancing. Zoe says they can't do that because the dance-off is tonight. She also uses the app to command them, and even though this makes them change their minds, they don't dance well. Taylor finds this funny and says that Zoe's team will be humiliated tonight. Zoe seems pissed and uses the app to control the boys on Taylor's team to make mistakes. Rachel looks shocked, and as Zoe also insults Taylor and her teammates, Jackson sees this. He looks disappointed and heads out.
Terrible person, we both know that.
But Zoe follows him. He then scolds her for acting like Taylor, and he says he thought she was different. Zoe says he's the one who is confusing, but Jackson doesn't understand this. He eventually says they need some space, and Zoe looks disappointed. When she returns to the gym, she puts her phone into her bag and says she's done with it. Shortly after, she heads to the restroom, and Taylor sneakily steals her phone. Zoe doesn't realize this, and Taylor just insults her before leaving. Later that day, Rachel visits Zoe at home, and Zoe laments that she thinks she has made things worse by using the app. Rachel agrees, and Zoe suddenly sees a note on the fridge. As she reads it, she realizes that a scout is coming to watch Adam. She looks shocked and tells Rachel that they have to find Adam because he cannot play in his current state. When they arrive at school, Zoe quickly calls Ted and his sons aside to explain what happened. As the boys look pissed, Zoe says she's sorry, but that they have to help her fix it.
I am so sorry.
Jeannie looks confused and thinks Zoe is making things up, but the boys believe her. Ben then suggests using the release command to change everyone back to normal. Zoe thinks it's a good idea, but she suddenly notices that her phone is missing. She quickly heads to the bathroom with Rachel to look for it, but they don't find it. Zoe then realizes that Taylor must have taken it earlier. Meanwhile, Taylor and Yuki have just figured out how to use the app. Taylor commands some boys to carry her to the basketball court, and when she gets there, Zoe and Rachel realize that she's now using the app. Taylor then starts commanding all the boys to do what she wants, and Zoe comes up with an idea to get her phone back. Shortly after, Zoe meets Taylor to tell her that controlling boys won't make her life any better. She says that Taylor has to let them be themselves and learn to accept them for who they are. Jackson hears this and looks impressed, but Taylor doesn't seem impressed with the speech.
Coolest guy in school, who could have anyone?
She also mentions that Zoe used the app and didn't stop, even though she could have done that. She then starts controlling Ted as payback for Zoe, messing with her and stealing her boyfriend. Zoe tells Taylor to command her too, but Taylor says the app doesn't work on girls. Zoe says she'll still obey, and that she doesn't want Taylor to use the app on her family. Taylor agrees and starts telling Zoe to behave like a dog. Ted and his sons eventually join her, and as Zoe looks shocked, Adam says they have to stick together. Jackson also joins them, and this gets Taylor pissed. Rachel then takes off her disguise and knocks the phone out of Taylor's hand. Almost immediately, Zoe catches it and uses the app to release everyone. As it works, everyone returns to normal, and Zoe looks pleased. Taylor isn't happy about what happened, and she says that Zoe is nothing without the phone. Zoe then destroys the phone and throws it away, saying there's more to life than a phone.
There's more to life than what's on a phone.
Taylor cannot believe this, but Zoe's family looks proud of her. Shortly after, the game begins, and Jackson talks to Zoe and asks her out on a real date. This makes her happy, and Rachel eventually calls her to get ready for the dance-off. At halftime, Taylor and her team lead the way with their performance, and the crowd cheers for them. Zoe then encourages her team to just do their best, and they agree. When it's their turn, they perform so well and get more cheers from the crowd. They eventually get announced as the winners, and Taylor looks disappointed. The next day, at home, Zoe seems more comfortable with her brothers, and they all head out for a family run. After Zoe struggles to tolerate her stepbrothers, she decides to use a magical app to make them behave differently. She also uses the app on the boys at her school because she wants them to stop being weird. Despite enjoying this at first, Zoe eventually realizes that she has only made her stepbrothers and the other boys worse by controlling them. She then learns that it's better to let the boys be themselves and to accept them for who they are.